psychic. Don't touch it.
Woo!
All right, let's go.
All
All right. Good morning, everyone. I am Leanne Winston, psychic medium, and we are here with our special guest. So welcome, Annette is joining us as well. So welcome, Don. Thank you. It's lovely to finally have you online with us.
Well, thank you. I'm glad it's working.
It has been a little bit of a journey. This is about take 5, I think it is, but we were meant to get there. We beat the odds, so that's great. So I do just want to introduce Don. Don is a whole food I'm stuck on my words. Advisor, whole food advisor and practitioner. So, Don, would you like to share a little bit with us about your journey? What got you into this side of things? What led you down this pathway that you've travelled for 50 odd years doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been speaking to the public about the ancient wisdom that I came across when I was much, much younger. And it's such brilliant stuff what the ancient healers knew. But what got me on my path was a couple of things. When I was 9 years old, my brother, a younger brother, was 1 year less old than me. He got tonsillitis. And so they took him to the hospital, and the doctors did surgery and cut out his tonsils. And the doctor looked at my mom and said, "You got a boy 1 year older. We may as well take out his tonsils because he's going to get it anyway." And she came and got me out of school, took me into there, and they strapped me down, put me to sleep, and cut out my tonsils. And the next morning I was in so much pain, and I'm like, "Why did you do that?" "Well, you were going to get it anyway." And I'm just like, good grief. And then my 2 brothers and sister were always going to a dentist, always. I never went. And so when I was about 16, the dentist looked at my mom and said, "You have a boy that you've never brought in here. Why is that? What's your problem?" And she said, "Well, he never complains about a toothache or anything." And he said, "Yeah, but you're on the dole system, the welfare system. It's all paid for. You need to go get him out of school and let me just check it out." So she came, got me out of school, didn't tell me where she was going because she knew how I felt about that tonsil thing. Takes me in, and I could tell it was medical, and it just freaks me out. And he sat me down, x-rayed my teeth, looked at my mom and said, "Yeah, you're right. He doesn't have any cavities, but in the future he will, and you don't know for how long it's going to be paid for you. We need to go ahead and drill them and fill them up with mercury filling so that it's all over and done and you don't have to worry about it in the future." And my mom said, "Okay." I jumped up and took off running and opened the door, and 2 men grabbed me and took me back in. Wow. And they strapped me down, put me to sleep, drilled all of my teeth, put in mercury fillings. And the next day, when I woke up, I was in so much pain, I honestly wished I was dead. I didn't even want to be here. Wow. And they came in and injected painkillers into me. And when I finally got out of there, that was it. I was just, okay, this isn't right. This is just so wrong. Mm-hmm. And the thing that got me on my path was when I was a kid, my friends, we all lived in a small town of 500 people. And everybody that lived there was Mormons except us. And so every Sunday, my friends would come to our house, knock on the door and say, "Do you want to go to Sunday school?" And I'd say, "I go to school 5 days a week. Why do I want to go on Sunday?" And they looked at me and they'd shake their head, and I would just shut the door. And they did that every single Sunday for close to 6 years from the time I was just a young kid. And one Sunday I finally said, "All right, fine, I'll go with you." So we went down to their church in the middle of town. And one of my friends, Melvin, his mom was reading out of this big thick book. Later I learned it was called a King James Version of the Bible. And she read out of the book of Daniel, chapter 1. And it was a story about a recipe of foods that was called pulse in the King James Version. And anyway, King Nebuchadnezzar came in and created an encampment, and the boys and everything were taken in, and they wouldn't eat the king's food because they were vegan or vegetarian. They wouldn't eat the dead animals the chefs were preparing for the king and for them. And they said, look, just give us pulse to eat and water to drink. We'll be just fine. At the end of the 3 years of being in that encampment and just eating pulse, apparently, they were 10 times smarter than any of the other people in the camp. And they were stronger than anyone else.
Yeah.
And when I heard that story, I thought, good grief, I think I want some pulse. And so I raised my hand and I said, you know, Mrs. Lake, what is pulse? And she says, I have no idea. And I said, well, then why did you tell us about it? And she goes, yeah, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. And she said, you ought to ask the bishop. He knows everything. And I said, okay, how do I do that? And they said, well, when Sunday school's over, he'll be outside and you just go up and ask him. And I did. And he said, just come to my house. I've got all kinds of books there in the library and I can look it all up and we'll find it. And I said, okay, thank you. So I went over to his house that afternoon. He spent 2 hours going through lexicons and all kinds of research stuff. He finally closed all his books, looked at me and said, I'm sorry, it's obvious it's conflicting what pulse is. Nobody really knows. And then he messed me up for the rest of my life because he looked at me and said, I can tell you're passionate about this. I think if anybody could ever find what pulse was, it'll be you.
That sounds like a challenge.
Yeah. All of a sudden I had a purpose to my life.
Beautiful.
And so, so when I was about 16 and a half, I ran away from home because I was so sick and tired of what was going on in our household. And my two brothers, sister, mom, and dad, they would kill animals and cut their throats and cut out the organs of the bodies and cook them and eat them. And they tried to force me to eat it. And I never ate meat once because I was just a natural born vegetarian. I couldn't believe the screaming and yelling and crying of the murdered animals and why people would eat their dead bodies. And so anyway, I ran away from home. And I'd jump on trains to get to the next city without them knowing I was there. And I'd go into the libraries. And then I found out that there were museums, and not only libraries, but museums and ancient and arcane collections. And I went all around the United States, from California all the way across and up and down, up to New York City, Chicago, Florida, everywhere. And I'd get on cruise ships. They were freight liners. And I'd ask the captain, can I get to the next, landmass? And I said, I'll mop, I'll clean, I'll do whatever you want if I can just go. And he goes, yeah, come on. So I'd go. And so I went to over 70 or 80 different countries around the world, went into the ancient arcane collections, looking for pulse. And the things that I learned about the ancient women who were the healers of the ancient world. Women were always the healers. And I got something on the phone here. There, it went away. Anyway, it just blew me away what the women knew. And even as far back as the earliest dynasties of Egypt, the healers were the women called Swinwet. And it's because the women have intuitions that most men don't have at that level. And they can smell things, hear things, taste things that most men don't. Women can smell something. They go, what's that smell? And most men will go, I don't smell anything.
Sounds like a house.
And so, yeah,
It
yeah.
does.
And the women could go out and smell the flowers and all of the different berries and fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and grains and test them. And they even watched the animals, what the animals instinctively did. And it was just fascinating. Everything that I learned that was recorded by the women in those ancient collections. And now they're all under lock and key. You can't even see them anymore. They were done away with by the Greek pharmakia. Pharmakia means poison, pharmaceutical means poison makers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so the poison makers literally hated the women healers. They killed the swine wet. They went into the Pythagorean Academy and killed the healers there and just took the academy away. And then
Pythagoras
they,
got away too, didn't he? He escaped.
what's that?
Pythagoras, he actually escaped, didn't he?
Yeah, he was one of the only ones that actually escaped.
Mm.
And even at the Library of Alexandria, the pharmaceuticals went in, killed everybody, took all the collections, and hid them in Rome.
Mm.
And people don't even realize Vatican City is Rome, and they created the 12 largest pharmaceutical companies, and they built subsets under it. And now poisonous, toxic, deadly drugs and horrible vaccines are being pushed onto the world because people have fallen for it, because they're taught in school that the doctors are the healing gods of the age and all of that. And yet every year since 2001 in their own medical journals, it's printed how many people doctors kill every year. And just in the United States, it's over 2 million people a year. And
Wow.
it's called iatrogenic death. And they're the leading killers of people around the world. And I didn't mean to go off so long.
No, keep going. This is all
That's
really
all right.
everybody
Yeah.
needs to know. It's
Yeah.
about
So,
time. I
so it's been
fire
a
up
really
the time.
fascinating sort of start because basically, like Rod said in one of the questions that I put up, that basically it was that time that sort of set you on that journey, that determination sort of thing to make that changes. Now, I have been putting up hellos up there as well. I do just want to make it clear that Annette and I are not doing readings today. This show is a special show or a special edition to bring Don to us. And now Donna is happy to answer some questions to do with medical, food, health, that side of it. I do want to make the point that Donna is not a licensed medical doctor, but he does have 53 odd years of experience in this sort of industry with this. Don has done amazing shows. Everywhere you look on the internet, you see Don's amazing moustache and hat. His cute face. But with lots and lots of information on as well. I have put the link up on the screen while Don was talking to do with the Tolman University. Now, Donna, obviously you've stepped back out of the limelight a little bit because you've done this intense work for such a long period of time, but your knowledge and all that wealth in your head has been put into the Tolman University. Now, I will ask you about the C in the university in a moment because I think there's a story behind that, if I remember correctly. But you are offering a special at the moment for our viewers that if they want to join the lifetime access of your university, they can put in the code July 19 and that will save them $500. So the cost is normally $19.97 for lifetime access, and this is only on the lifetime access of the university. But if you put in July 19, you will get it for $14.97. What will that give people access to?
They're going to see all of the wisdom of the ancients that has been taken away. That's not even out there in libraries or anything anymore. And thankfully, some of it's starting to show up on the internet because people are sharing the message and it's getting out there. And that's why I'm thankful you're doing this kind of stuff as well. And
Yeah.
but they're going to have videos to watch. They're going to have audios to listen to. There's curriculums that they can go through, and they can actually become practitioners of healers and teaching people how to be their own physician, which means healer, and be their own doctor, which means teacher. Now those terms have changed quite a bit, but we got to teach people how to learn how to teach themselves and how to heal themselves. And for those that are passionate about staying away from the cut, burn, and poison of that industry, it'll be great for them to become a part of this. And they'll become certified through that university. And so anyway, it's just a great experience. And there's people doing it now, but we want more and more and more getting in and learning this stuff, and then hopefully can share it with friends and family. And if you go on to there and you type in that July 19, that's a lifetime membership into that. And we have a community of people that's going across the world now. And we got several hundred in there. It's called the Ringleaders. And that'll be a free thing. And they all communicate with each other and exchange things. And it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like-minded people. That sounds awesome. Golly gosh. People that can talk on the same wavelength instead of other wavelengths.
And believe me, Annette and I spent, 2-3 hours with you about 3 or 4 weeks ago here in Adelaide, catching up after the big expo. And my God, the knowledge that you have in your head, and I'm sure we only just not even scratched the surface probably, was incredible. I do want to make the point that that price that I quoted, the $14.97, is Australian dollars. It's not American dollars. So I have had that confirmed before now. So we've got a lot of people just saying hello to you, Don, how much of an amazing man you are and stuff. I've been putting comments up while we've been talking. We've got people right around the world watching as well at the moment. So,
how's the lemon? Before you go, Leanne, the lemon, when we were talking at the Lakes Hotel, the skin, I've been to so many different doctors and taken their ridiculous, what do you call that crap, the prescriptions? Here's my slang coming along. The antibiotics. I'm Australian. And I've taken the antibiotics, used all of the creams, steroids and stuff. And I just said to you casually, so how do I sort out this thing on my face? It's really horrible. And you said, use lemon. Just keep using lemon, as I was eating all the lemons. But you said just use the lemon. I did. It's gone. And I really want to say thank you.
We went through a lot of lemons that night, so thank you, Wesley.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I like the lemons. But that was brilliant. It took about 2 days and it was gone. I love touching my face again. Look at that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, thank you. And so I've got a question before anybody else does. I've been waiting for a couple of weeks now. I've stopped smoking and I'm using these awful patches. Thank you. And I've realised it's the poisons that they're putting in the cigarettes, and I might be like addicted to the nicotine, but I'm so cranky. Is there anything I can eat that will help me not be so nasty while I'm weaning off of the withdrawal?
So short is probably the word, not nasty.
I am nasty, short, nasty. Bit no filter, just really speaking how I see it instead of going through the channels of people don't understand certain things, and I'm becoming really cutting towards them. Like, it's pretty obvious. Don't you see that? Do I have to be kinder again? And I really need to get back to that center of myself.
Yeah. And what was the issue? Did you say you were bloated?
No, I gave up smoking. I gave up smoking. Yes. Golly gosh. Yeah.
It must be over a month now, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Look, I stopped counting. Time doesn't make any sense to me anyway. It's all illusions. But that's exactly what I mean. I'm very short and frank.
So basically, you want to know what food you can have to get rid of the shortness.
Yes, I don't wish for a cigarette anymore. I've just become a different person. I don't have much patience.
Well, it's really interesting because at the expo where they had me speak there in Adelaide at the Cannabis Hemp Expo, I just shared with the people that most people don't even know it, but cannabis, hops that are in good organic, no additive, no preservative beers, and organic dark chocolate are all the same botanical family. And in your situation, if you could eat good organic dark chocolate and have it with you throughout the day so you can snack on it and you can have it. And it's even women when they are going to go into their menstrual cycle. If they'll start eating dark organic chocolate 3 days before they think they're going to start, they won't have any pains or issues with it. And it's just fascinating how the plants are the medicines of this earth. It's really interesting. It really is.
That's ironic because at the fair or the science, what do you call it, the scientific place, I don't know, expo, thank you, I was eating dark chocolate and I was much nicer. And I've stopped eating the dark chocolate for some reason. And I love organic dark chocolate. I'm always on here saying...
She's always putting it on me.
Yeah.
No,
that's great.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So you're on the right track without even realising it, Annette.
Yeah. And I
That's
stopped.
pretty good. Yeah, excellent. We do have a question here from Carol. She says, "Hi, Don. Please, may I ask a question? What can I take instead of thyroxine? I think it's called. My doctor wants me to take 250 milligrams. So thank you."
Thyroxine is horrible. Just throw it in the rubbish bin and be done with it. If you ever have a thyroid problem, all you've got to do is look at the tissue structures of mushrooms, especially button and portobello. They have the exact same tissues as the thyroid. And the ancient women taught it, and it works. And they've even studied it now, today. And it has the highest delivery of iodine. And if you set them in the sun and eat them after that, they have the highest vitamin D. And all you got to do is eat a cup of mushrooms each day do it for a couple of weeks. And then you can have them whenever you feel like having them. And if you're hyper or hypo, it's going to balance and you're going to be just fine. So mushrooms are the answer.
Wow.
For that.
Wow.
And it's interesting because a lot of people believe all the pharmaceutical publications of how many thousands of diseases there are in the world today. And if you search it on the internet, how many human diseases are there? Depending on the website you go into, it's going to say there's 16,000, 26,000, and it just goes from there. And then they all say there's 7,000 rare diseases. If you're ever diagnosed with a rare disease, just hold on to your wallet and run. You're going to be just fine. They're just looking for a guinea pig, and they're being paid under the table by the pharmaceutical industry to diagnose you with a rare disease so they can test a new poisonous drug or surgery or radiation, whatever they're told to do. And it's a scam. And I'm just so thankful. I've helped over 2,000 doctors quit their medical careers and just go with foods as medicine and do that kind of stuff. It's been a thrill to see that in my lifetime, that more and more doctors are waking up. And yet a lot of people don't even realize when doctors go holistic, a lot of them are being killed. And you don't even see it on the news or anything else. You have to search it on the internet, and then you'll see how they're being killed and what's going on.
It's horrific. The bullying, what they do to their families, the tactics, it's absolutely horrific. It's so sad.
Can I ask, Don, through your career, have you come up against things like that where they've tried to shut you down for sharing your knowledge?
Twice.
Yeah.
I was shot at, and luckily the bullet missed me by about that far, and it went right through my car door and across, and the bullet came out the other side. And I just had to drop to the ground and crawl underneath my car. And it's when I got through speaking at an event in Florida, and it was just a horrible experience. That was about 20 years ago, though. That was 20 years ago. And then this last September, I was hit by a car, It was called a hit and run, and it's on video. And the car didn't have any license plates and just hit me and took off.
Well, that's a bit sus, isn't it?
Yeah, that was crazy. So a couple of things have happened to me, but I just love the wisdom of the ancients. There's not all those thousands of diseases and all of that. And the ancient women taught there's only one disease that can ever exist in the human body. There's only one. And it was chaos at the atomic level that led to chaos at the molecular level, that led to chaos at a cellular level. And when you have enough cells in chaos, you can feel it as a discomfort or dis-ease. And so it's telling you, wherever it's located in your body or head or whatever, you're either toxic or deficient, is what the ancient women taught. And that's the only cause of that kind of chaos in the body. You're either toxic or you're deficient. But if you live in the modern world, you're probably toxic and deficient. You eat at McDonald's, you drink Coca-Cola, you pop your supplement pills and capsules, you take your drugs.
I must admit, after spending those few hours with you and Annette and Kevin a few weeks ago, talking to you, I think at that stage I was probably drinking 4 or 5 cans of Pepsi Max a day. I'm down to 1, but drinking a couple of litres of water a day. And I'm feeling much better. I'm not feeling so bloated. So, you know, you definitely kick-started something in me there. And I am thinking twice about the food I'm eating. Probably not as well as I should, but I have changed it a bit.
Well, you just like eating parasites, don't you? You like eating parasites, Don. I actually sent Leanne this video, and the last little worms. I mean, we'll leave it alone with the origins are, but you can call them parasites. Let's call them parasites. The other things, and they're so long and so deadly and disgusting. And every time you eat meat, that's what you're eating. Yummy. Not meat.
Every time I ate meat after that, I was imagining that video.
It's time to watch it again.
Oh, goodness. All right. We do have another comment here. Question, from Cheryl saying, "Hi, Don. I have had trouble with my stomach over the past weeks and suffering from constant reflux. Could you please, could there be a reason for this? Thank you."
Yeah. If you're, having troubles with the stomach and you get nauseous or things like that, that's the body doing its house cleaning. It's cleaning things out that don't belong there. Same with diarrhea. It's not a disease, it's house cleaning. And if you ever have continuous, acid reflux, all you've got to do, and you can even do the vegan or the vegetarian, if it's good organic white cheese and you eat a piece, just a piece of it, the reflux is gone within 1 minute to 2 minutes. And it's resetting the flora and the fauna of the gut, and which is the acids and the bacteria that do the digestive process. It resets it. You can even eat good organic yogurt and help to reset the flora and the fauna of the gut. You could even eat the vegan coconut yogurt. And if people would just try these things instead of taking drugs and pills and all the crap, which never heals anything, and they admit it, it just suppresses symptoms. Then the symptoms come back, and sometimes they're worse. Oh, that's okay. We can give you a stronger prescription. And then it gets worse and worse. Oh my gosh, it's just ridiculous.
It keeps going, doesn't it?
Yeah, doctors are just legalized drug lords.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Golly gosh.
They're the wealthiest industry on the face of this earth. And it's been published ever since 2010. They make between $7 to $9 trillion annually. And they pay politicians to force vaccines. They decide who gets into offices typically by paying and doing all this stuff. And it's just terrible. It's horrible.
Even when that's
we just got to wake up and turn and go another path.
Yeah, the
Don't
prescription
tell
that you're
anybody
given.
though. Don't tell anybody.
No,
You know.
it's
The kickbacks
quite.
are
Yeah,
everywhere. The
yeah, yeah.
prescriptions, when they're giving you a prescription, they're saying, "Oh, this is new. This is fantastic." What you were saying before, they're getting a kickback from it. The money you're paying for
Yes,
their,
they
if they're not
are.
getting a financial kickback, it's an incentive. They're getting a holiday, this or that. That's
That's
just
right.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah.
people
And it's
don't understand.
interesting. Most people don't even realize when you go into a doctor's office, it says licensed to legally practice. Maybe people ought to look up what practice means.
What
He's
does it mean?
practicing on you.
Oh
He's
God, no.
practicing. And
Constantly.
they can legally diagnose you and charge you for the diagnostic tests and things. Gnosis means knowledge.
Oh.
Diagnosis means I'm guessing. They've split and divided information. He's legally told you I'm guessing. But
Golly God.
if you'll sign right here and take full responsibility for any harm or death I cause you or your children, then I'm willing to practice on you.
And he's got the rights because he's been up front in the wording.
Yeah.
People don't understand.
It's crazy.
It's incredible, isn't it?
How many times do you see little babies? And I've gone to the doctors and I've been really cranky, and I'm watching these little babies going through, and they're crying, they're so distraught, and they're being given that chemical warfare. I call it chemical warfare for the
You bet it
immunisation.
is.
Yeah, and they don't understand. The mothers are doing it from fear. They haven't researched it. They don't actually know any better. Their vibration is so low. They have no idea, and it's just inbuilt generational nonsense. How was that for a good saviour of
Well,
language?
these days, I think your kids can't go to school or to daycare unless they've had the infection. So,
And autism and all those things didn't even exist until they started doing all that.
yeah,
It's ridiculous.
yeah,
Sad.
that's
They don't
it. So,
understand. People are like, "Oh, but this didn't happen. My child got cervical cancer." Well, yeah, because you gave it an immunisation and you're feeding it full of crap, and that is why. I don't know how to explain it correctly, but that is why. And then there's the fear factor. Oh, but I could die, and look, it gets me cranky.
that's the thing. It's the fear. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just got a comment here. Sorry, Annette. We've got a comment here from Sarah just saying, "Hi, Don. I have IBS symptoms for some time now and was recommended to drink turmeric every day. And it has made her feel a lot better. What are the benefits of turmeric? Can you have too much?"
No, you can never have too much organic turmeric. It's just like people say, oh, don't eat oranges, it's going to rot the teeth out of your mouth. And it's a total scam. It's just crazy. And so the turmeric is fine, and it helps to get rid of inflammation in the body and calm things down. And it's one of the healthy medicines, plant medicines. And so I'm thankful that you had it, and don't ever worry about having too much. That's nonsense. Just go with what you feel. Go with what you feel about things and follow it. And, the ancients taught that if you don't want to have problems and this and that, they taught the 7 principles of health. And it was breathing good, clean outdoor air as much as you can every day, and possibly at night by opening your window. And if it's cold, just put on another blanket, And even the freon in air conditioning causes pneumonia and all kinds of lung congestion and problems like that. And it's okay to be in air conditioning if you're sitting or standing up, but if you lay down to go to sleep, turn it off. It's a whole different field. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's just things like that. But just like the comment about the irritable bowel syndrome, I've had people make a fruit smoothie and put in a half a cup to a cup of organic extra virgin olive oil, and they drink that each day, and it gets rid of colitis, it gets rid of intestinal ulcers and all that kind of thing, ulceritis of the stomach and all kinds, IBS. It clears it up, and it might take a week of doing it each day, but it helps to clear all that up.
Yeah.
And I want to let people know, if they go into the university and just check it out, but they have a they want a consultation with me, just click on the consultation. It'll be up there at the, I think at the top of the university thing. Just click on a consultation, and there's no set fee. You can just look at it and think, okay, what's this going to be worth to me if he can help heal me? And you can donate $5, $50, $60. Some people do much more than that just because they're very thankful. But you can go on that, and I will answer all of your health concerns and problems if you're interested in it.
Totally.
Yeah. And please, with that, do keep in mind that, the information Don is sharing is really worth it. So, if you're going for a longer consult, I would suggest donating more in that sense. Like Don said, there's no limits, there's no expectations, but there is that exchange of information, and I'm a big one in believing, because I'm sure, Don, like Annette and I, we get inloaded with people wanting free questions all the time. It is our time and everything. Things cost money to run, so keep that in mind.
There's also, I get drawn to a lot of messages. Look, I don't have time to answer. I send love to everybody. But there's sometimes we're drawn to certain messages where that person can't afford it and they don't have the money, they don't have the mindset, and that little bit of information does tip them over, and then it helps them build themselves and our universe. And so what you can do is good too.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, Don, I've got to ask you about water, because I know as much as I'm into water, having a conversation on the phone with Kevin the other day, he started me off on the thought process of, okay, well, it comes in plastic. Different companies, well-known, put different things into their water. It's not as pure as what we thought. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
The purest water that you can drink is distilled water, because the distiller does the exact same thing that Father Sun does to Mother Earth. Evaporates the water, gets it into the sky, condenses it, and it falls back. And so if you have a distiller, that's the purest water you can have. And you can just do it right out of your own sink, even if it's got fluoride and chlorine and all the crap they put in it. It'll take it all out, and it's safe to drink. And people say, yeah, but if you drink distilled water, it's going to rot the bones right out of your body. There's no minerals. And the thing is, all you've got to do, and they tested this at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. They didn't believe what I had spoken about there at the university, and they tested it. What I told them to do was distill the water, put it in a translucent glass bottle with a lid, set it outside in the sun for 1 hour. And guess what? Their technology, they had it all hooked up and everything, and magnesium came into the water within about 1 minute of putting it out there.
Wow.
And then came calcium, then came iron, and the minerals just went all the way up. And so if you can do that in the sun for an hour, you've got the best water there is. And the truth is, if you're traveling, and hopefully you can find good, clean water, because a lot of people that travel to other countries and drink the water there, they get sick. And so, but if you can't, and all you can find is water in plastic bottles, it's okay. But don't get any of it. Read the label. If it says Coca-Cola, owned by the Coca-Cola, don't you dare buy it. If it says Nestle's, and what was the other? Anyway, there's Nestle, there's Coca-Cola. It's
big
horrible.
companies.
Oh my gosh. And don't even trust them, because they put fluoride in the water, and they say, oh no, we've had it tested and it's absolutely clean. And if people just looked into who owns all that Coca-Cola and Nestle's and all that crap, good.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. I think I might stick my $3 bottle of water.
I'm going to distill. Brush your teeth with fluoride and rinse it with fluoride water. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it,
Yeah.
exactly. Actually, it's quite interesting because one of my clients yesterday has a friend that now has a problem in his lungs, and they're saying it's cancer, but I was picking up that I felt that he had inhaled water and that there had got microorganisms into his liver, his lung that is now growing and causing like-minded cancer things. So I suggested they go and ask the questions type of thing. Is that possible? Because I know he was in Thailand on holidays and he nearly drowned in the water there. So is it possible that that sort of thing can happen, that it can get into an organ like that?
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
But then there's ways to clear it out. And it's interesting, a lot of times when people have lung problems and things, if they would take a large onion, cut it in half, and put that half right next to their bed where they sleep, that onion and the odors that come up off it, all of the particles and crap in the air that sometimes off gases from furniture with fabrics and all that kind of crap, it pulls it all right to the surface of the onion. And so
Wow.
you're breathing good clean air. And the next morning, if you just slice off a little bit of the top and throw it out and put it back, and you just keep doing that until the onion's gone. And it can help your lungs while you're sleeping. It can clear the air. It can do things. And you can even pick up an onion in the morning or whenever you're around home and smell it.
Oh.
And you can even open your mouth, and those things will go into the lungs, grab stuff, and you'll spit it out.
Yeah.
That is
So would
cool.
that work for asthmatics as well?
Yeah,
Would it
it helps
benefit
with
from that?
that. But if people
Yeah.
have asthma, one of the best things they can do, and it can clear it up within just days. And they need to go outside in the open air and walk for about 20 to 30 minutes, breathing in through their nose and out through their mouth. Because a lot of times asthmatics are mouth breathers, not nose breathers. And so they have to practice breathing through the nose as much as they can. But the other thing that targets the lungs and pulls the asthma away and gets rid of it is red radishes. If they would eat a cup full of red radishes every day and go for the walk, and I've had several hundred asthmatics do it, and guess what? It works.
Wow.
Nice.
There we go for the asthmatics out there.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, we've got Louise just asking Don, what is good to get rid of I'm not even going to try and say that word. You can say that.
Pylori. Pylori.
Yeah. Yep. All you got to do is have a cup of warm, clean water, put in 2 tablespoons of organic apple cider vinegar, and if it's okay with you, put in 1 tablespoon of raw organic honey and swirl it around and drink it. And
Yum.
do that 3 or 4 times a day, and you'll knock it out. The H. pylori will be gone. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. So that's
I'm always
interesting.
drinking vinegar, organic
She
apple cider.
drinks it
I love it.
straight.
It's beautiful. It's good stuff.
I sit there and laugh at her sometimes. I think, I don't know how she does it.
It tastes good.
You do what you need to do. I'm a big believer in that. Sharon says, hi, Don. I finally stopped taking gradually her antidepressants, but still have anxiety sometimes. What can I do? And this is probably something that a lot of people suffer with.
Yeah, antidepressants are the leading cause of suicides and mass murders. And that's even put out there by the medical, books that they have, but most people don't even get into it, don't even look into it. But I'm glad you're off the medication. And you just need to do the things that make you happy. Think about what makes you happy. Listen to good music that you like. And the number one thing is going out into the sunshine and even doing sun gazing to get the biophotons, the frequencies of the full rainbow colors right through the pupils, across the ocular chiasma in the brain, back into the back of the brain. And that electric force of those biophotons activate the pineal gland. And it helps to get over depression, anxieties, things like that. And another thing, if you're feeling anxieties and stuff, get out and go for a walk. Just get out and go for a walk. And, listen to the birds, look around, see what's happening. It activates all the senses because you're looking, smelling, hearing, and you can even stop and touch flowers and things like that. And that'll help to overcome. And another thing people have to practice is controlling their thoughts. Your thoughts create your emotions create your behaviors, and your behaviors create your results. Your thoughts are everything. And too many people have not realized they need to let go of the negative and hang on to the positive. And the ancient swinwets of Egypt, and I showed, a bunch of Australians, probably 33 of them in Egypt, the hieroglyphics that were there at the Giza Pyramid and other places. And I showed them where the hieroglyphics showed a letter X and a button right above it. And the ancients taught it, and it was handed down through time, but now most people don't even know about it. If you practice seeing an X in front of you and draw it with your finger and then push a button, and you take the negative away from you by saying these words: cancel, clear, delete. Cancel, clear, delete. And if you'll practice that, you won't hang on to thinking about the negative things, because when you do that, it magnifies it. It's just like people who focus on pain. If you focus on the pain, it magnifies it. So just say cancel, clear, delete. I don't want to feel the pain. Go away. And then, of course, you can eat cherries to get rid of pains. Life is meant to be a bowl of cherries, that kind of stuff. Then for the positive, when you have a happy moment, when you have good things happening, when you're feeling positive, hang on to it. You draw the X and you say affirm, confirm, save. Affirm, confirm, save.
It's cool.
And that's it, And I wish that people would teach young people about that. And have them practice it when they're young, because then they focus on the positive, not the negative.
Yeah. Well, we have so many teenagers these days with anxiety and depression. The youth.
Because they've been formatted in their brains like computers. They don't know any different.
Now, if I remember correctly from the night that we caught up here in Adelaide, the pineal gland. Now, I think you said that night have pineapple and orange together to activate. Pine nuts. Is that right? And pine.
Yes.
Is that what I'm missing? I'm doing the pineapple and the orange in my smoothies in the morning at the moment. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
But you've got to wash them as well.
Yeah. I haven't got that far.
But the thing is, when you eat chunks of pineapple and slices of orange together, it does better than antidepressants. And so it's healthy. The only side effect is you're going to like it and you're going to feel good.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying that at the moment.
Doctors hate that.
Yeah. I've been doing a pineapple and orange in my smoothies with a bit of natural Greek yogurt and water for breakfast, and I'm really enjoying it. It's very refreshing too.
Good.
And
Good.
I didn't say anything about the yogurt. Remember the other day I said I'm just
You were
really
very
proud of what you're doing. Yeah, the organic natural yogurt is what you're looking for.
Yeah, I've got to find the organic side of it. So
Yummy.
excellent. Next, we have Amanda saying, "Hi, Don. I have a colic disease. Is there anything that can help me other than just gluten-free diet? Thank you very much."
Is that celiac?
Yeah,
It might be.
celiac.
Sorry, big words.
Can she respond with what her actual symptoms are? I
Oh,
hope.
sorry. Yep. So, Amanda, if you'd like to give us your symptoms, I will certainly keep an eye out for that. Sorry, the water went down the wrong way. All right. So while I keep an eye out for Amanda, we will jump on to somebody else as well. Thank you, Roz. Roz is just putting up in the backgrounds that Don will not be reading today. Unless you've got psychic abilities that you haven't shared with us just yet, Don.
I
But
think he has actually. His
I
third
wouldn't be
eye's quite open. I'm looking, and I can
Yeah.
see his third eye's a crackerjack. It's open. Beautifully.
We are focusing more on the health and the food sort of side of it. So if you have medical health issues that you'd like to ask Don about, certainly ask those questions. And Carol says, may I ask Don, I have completed, there's another big word. I can't see to get the energy back, and the weight is coming on with vengeance.
Yeah. Women should never have a hysterectomy. That's just a total scam. But, when it's done, it's done. But women are the most picked on of all humans because the doctors use fear and guilt and put them into emotional states and, oh, you got to have your ovaries out. Oh, you got to have blah, blah, blah. You got to have your breast removed. And none of that ever has to happen. And thankfully, I've had the opportunity of helping people to heal themselves and avoid all that. But if the weight is coming on and you want to be able to get rid of the chemicals they put in you during that surgery, which is messing with the cells, and fat cells are there to protect you, and they'll mutate and go away, as you do the right thing. And so one of the best things that you could do if you're open to it, and it's always best to do this kind of thing when it's not freezing cold, but if you were to do a water fast, anywhere from 10 to 20 days, and I know that sounds horrific to most people, but after you've been on just water for about 3 or 4 days, you feel great. And it's like, well, I don't need to eat. And if you can go anywhere from 10 to 20 days on water and then flip over to fresh made juices and go on fresh made juices for 10 to 20 days, you're going to clear out the body. You're going to get rid of all the toxicities, and you're going to overcome any deficiencies. You're going to get rid of all of the crap and overcome that. And it heals the body. And it was the ancient women that watched the animals. They noticed that if an animal was injured or sick, it wouldn't eat. It would eat nothing. They'll drink water, but they won't eat anything. And some of those animals were so bad off, they would get down as skinny as skin and bones. And then they instinctively knew, yeah, okay. And they'd go back and start eating again. And so the women watched that and tested it on themselves. That's where fasting came from. And it worked. And so if they can do that kind of a thing and just clean house and overcome the deficiencies they may have, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Be your own healer. What's that?
Yeah. How much water would you suggest if somebody wants to do a water fast to have a day?
1 liter for every 50 pounds of weight. And 50 pounds is how many kilos? 25?
Golly gosh.
Yeah.
25
I have to
kilos.
Google somewhere like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think
1
is it
liter of good clean water. What's that?
Yeah, I think it's is it 2.5 pounds to a kilo or something like that. I'd have to double check that.
Yeah.
Hell, I'm going to drink a lot.
Yeah.
I did say it.
Yeah. Oh, Leanne, look, you're beautiful. Don't be like that. I always, when Leanne
honey.
says and you're welcome. When Leanne says a negative comment, I'm just like, you are not. You're gorgeous. You're this. What you're saying
There
before.
you go.
It's what we are. We have to
It's those positive thoughts, remember?
Yeah.
We are what we think. We are what we eat.
Cancel, clear, delete. Cancel, clear, delete.
Bloody funny. Could everybody please share this show? I really would like Don's words to get out far and wide. So if everyone who's watching, when you've shared it, then they share it. We can just keep sharing and sharing and sharing. It's kind of like going everywhere.
Great.
And we can really get the word out. And yeah, really is important that somebody just gets that little bit of a trigger and goes cha-ching, and then they go, oh, okay, I get that. And it starts them on their healthy, happy life, and we raise the vibration of the planet, which would be great. Thank you.
Great.
Exactly. And we've also got Erin just saying, I have toxic copper levels. What can I do to help? I will have to experience copper dumping.
Yeah, that's that there is a consultation. So go to Tolman University, click on consultation, and then I can let you know about all that. And the reason that I'm starting to say this is that I have a face-to-face consultation, and I'm here at the Wyndham. I'm up in my room, and they're down in the cafe. And so I'm going to have to go down and take care of them. I didn't mean to. We didn't cut this too short, did we? Or we all?
No,
that's okay, because we were running a little bit late getting on due to technical issues as well. Sarah just saying, sorry, Cheryl was just saying thank you. So we do have a couple of thank yous there as well. So like Don said, if you do have questions, please feel free to go to the Tolman University, Tolman City at universitycity.com. I get my words running the wrong way today.
And city is CITY, not S.
That's it.
C-I-T-Y.
Now there's a story behind that. Have you got time to quickly tell us why that is a C?
Yeah, the reason I came up with that, uni means connected, and city means village or community. And so I wanted to name it Tolman because the name Tolman means healer. And when I found that out in the ancient collections, it was my name, and I'm like, what? And the Tolmans in Britain all stayed right there at the Tolman Healing Center, later named Stonehenge. And the Tolmans, the healers, and most of them were women, even though Hippocrates, Socrates, Pythagoras, and others learned their stuff from the women and started to teach it and share it as well. Anyway, the British garrison were funded by Rome to kill all the healers. And they, luckily, a lot of them were able to escape. And that's where the 13 colonies came from, because it was the women who were the healers, and they had groups of 13 women that they all stayed together and healed and did what they were about. But they were called the Wicca in Britain, and later they were called the witches and hung and murdered and killed and put away and all of it, and it's horrible. And so anyway, Tolman means healer, the Healing University, the village that is going to be unified and hopefully go globally. And that's what we're hoping.
Yep. Will you come back, please? I know you've got to go, but I know Leanne's probably going to say that anyway, but I couldn't help myself because there's so much more that I really want to talk about, especially elemental. That's so, like, we're talking Whaley again. But yes, would you please come back again? Really, really, really.
Yeah, I would love to do it again, as long as it doesn't take us 4 days to get it live.
We'll just stick to the old system, the old structures this time. We should be right. So how much longer are you in Australia for, or is there plans So what do you got coming up?
Well, I've been here for several months, but I have to fly back to the United States on Sunday.
No.
I'm a little nervous about it because of what happened over there, but
Yeah.
I'll be all right. I'm going to go back. And,
Is that because of family? Do you have to go back? Is that because of family? That's what I'm picking up on.
I've got 2 young boys up there that I want to go see. And anyway, I'll be coming back to Australia early in September. And then we do the Reawake retreat in Bali for people that have signed up for that and want to do it. And then I'll come back to Australia. And I'm actually thinking about moving here to the Gold Coast, here to Surfers.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually
Adelaide's too cold at the moment for him.
Yeah. I really love it here.
Is there a chance if we could get enough people interested, we could do a show in Adelaide where you could talk to the audience?
Yeah, I'd be open to that.
There we go, Annette.
I'll start hunting this. I'm really good with it. Yeah, I always just say howdy doody, and Leanne does all that diddly stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. So my people or our people will talk with your people, and we will get that happening. All right. We do need to let you go, but can we have one more of those famous yeehas, please?
One more of the what?
Your famous cowboy yeehas.
The fake cowboy? The what?
The famous yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! Love it. There we go. There we had to bring the cowboy into it.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, John. All right, excellent. Well, thank you, everybody, for your questions. And like we said, you can certainly check out the Tolman University website and book a consult with Don and make a donation in that sense for his time. We thank you so much. It's been an honour to have you. It's been great to cross paths, and we look forward to organising and even having you back again at some time.
Thank you. I love you, ladies.
I love you
too. And safe travels. All right. Thank you, everyone. We will see you soon.
Don't hang up. Just wait. Don't hang up. Stay there.
Bye.
Wait. He hung up.
Oh.